Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I know it may shock some people that I did this, but recently I uninstalled Gray Zone Warfare. And I'm going to explain why. Because the thing is this, right? When I play a video game, I don't like to run into problems. I don't like having too many issues with the game. Gray Zone Warfare at first, so here's the thing, because I had played the game back when it originally had came out back in 2024. So I remember when I played the game, buggy mess. Fast forward, played it again, still buggy mess. Fast forward, played it again. I can't remember, because I remember I played it 2 times. I can't remember if there was a third time before I finally decided, you know what? No, there was a third time. So the third time was when I had got into it with that guy claiming he was in the military and crap. So that was the third time. I'm trying to think. I feel like there might have been a time before that. It might have been 4. I don't know. But anyways, I gave that game numerous chances, and I waited until they had I guess a proper foundation for that game. And when they started talking about 0.4, in my opinion, that was that proper foundation. When 0.4 came out, that was, in my opinion, the best possible state of Gray Zone Warfare. Made me become a fan. I know it's one of those things where I'm like, when I sit down and I think about how I used to talk about that game versus how I was playing that game, bro, I'm telling you, I didn't even feel like I was the same person. I'm like, there's no way possible I am playing Gray Zone Warfare, an extraction shooter, over games that I enjoyed, games where I'm like, you would catch me playing a racing game before you catch me playing an extraction shooter. And I was playing Gray Zone Warfare day and night, literally counting down the hours until the next time I played that game, rushing through content so I can play that game again. Gray Zone Warfare, it did something to me, and I will forever be grateful for Gray Zone Warfare. But my problem is with that game is that the developers, I don't know who they're listening to, but you gotta stop listening to them, because they are going to lead you guys right back in the same position that you were in before 0.4. So let me talk on my issues. Let me talk on my frustrations with the game. So when 0.4 came out, I have no issues. I have no frustrations, but I did just start playing, I guess, because that's 0.4. So to explain it, they pretty much wiped everybody's history with the game. And I think that's a common thing that developers do. And that's okay. I'm not mad about that, because they actually replenish the stuff that that you lose. So let's say, for an example, you're playing Gray Zone Warfare, because again, it's an extraction shooter. You're playing the game, you get killed, you lose all of your inventory. Now, I think they do have character wipes in the game where you can get your stuff back, but in case if you don't want to do that, and you don't want to go around looking for your ammo or not ammo, ammo, weapons, supplies, and all that other stuff, and you might not have the money to go and get it, you just wait until the next update, and you get all that stuff back all over again. So there ain't really no harm done. And especially if you get the supporter edition, you get a gang of things. You get an extended not inventory, but locker. You get a gang of weapons, a gang of ammo, what else? Supplies. They hooked you up. All right, they're hooking you up when you get it, when you buy the supporter edition for Gray Zone Warfare. But it's like that with the other editions too. But that's the thing with supporter, they give you the other editions. So standard, tactical, I think there's another one, and then it comes with supporter, and I think there are some more things that you get with the supporter edition. So, but anyways, when I very first started playing the game after 0.4, I had no problems with it. I was enjoying myself, but then I started progressing in that game, and then it started getting to a point where they would tell you, because one of the first missions I can think of where they tell you to look for something, and they're not being descriptive. They're not telling you where exactly to look. They just say, go to this area and look for this guy. The thing is this though. With Gray Zone Warfare, I guess if you guys need an idea of how big the map is, think of, I'm trying to think, the city area of Los Santos, and then maybe a little bit, it's maybe half the map of Los Santos. So it's a decent sized map, Gray Zone Warfare. If not, it might be the full map of Los Santos. But either way, regardless, it's not a small map. There's a lot of details. There's a lot of things to look for. And the thing is this, even if they do so, no, that's what they did. I remember they told me to go to this street and look for this guy. I guess he's at a window spying or some stuff like that, right? So I'm going to the street. I'm looking for this guy. I'm looking any and everywhere possible. I'm going up and down stairs. I'm going in and out of buildings. I don't know where this guy is at, but my thing is this, right? If this guy is allegedly alive, one would think that he'd just be like, hey, I'm up here, climb up in this area or go through this door, or I'll unlock the door for you so you can come up and we can talk. That's the thing though with Gray Zone Warfare. Everybody is dead. The only people that are alive are the enemies and your teammates. That's it. I guess, like, yeah, if you're playing PvPvE, then everybody is gonna die, you know? So, yeah, but it's like, at least in PvE, it's like, you know, you are teamed up with the other factions and the people that support your faction, and all you guys gotta do is just go and clear cities. I don't mind that. In cities, towns, jungle areas, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, you know? And I've mainly been playing PvE. So, but anyways, getting back to that mission. So I go there, kills a few guys, and then I'm looking up and down this street. Now, they have it set up. Pay attention to this detail. They have it set up where it takes a while for the enemies to respawn, because they are going to respawn. So I knew that the time was ticking. Like, I'm like, okay, I got to hurry up and find this guy before the enemies respawn again, because I'm not trying to have it where I keep wasting my ammo killing these guys and then looking for this enemy and I'm not finding him. So anyways, I'm being strategic. So I'm like, let me kill these guys off, look for this guy, do this mission, sneak up out of here, you know? So anyways, I do that. Couldn't find the guy. And I think I went to that area like maybe 3 or 4 times. Couldn't find the guy. So that's when I had to start going to the internet. Now, that's the thing that I don't like. I don't like having to run back and forth to the internet. But the more and more I played Gray Zone Warfare, the more and more I found myself having to, and I even found it was like a Gray Zone Warfare like Wikipedia type page. It wasn't like actually on Wikipedia, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Those like off-brand like Wikipedia websites and stuff. So anyways, they had their own little page where it explained all the different missions and all that stuff, and I'm like, all right, cool, so I'll just go here. But that's the thing, I found myself going to that website too many times, and I'm like, okay, I can't, my thing is this, right, on some real life, you know, war stuff, I would imagine that whoever it is that's telling me to go out and look for this guy or look for this intel or clear out this building or whatever and stuff, it's not going to be a situation where I'm like, okay, I'm constantly having to look back and forth on my phone or constantly having to call up people and see, because my thing is this, I'm going to get distracted and I'm going to get my head blown off. I'm not trying to have that happen. All right. So putting it in a video game perspective, I think that it's a bad idea to have it set up where we're having to constantly go back and forth, because the thing is this, if we have slow internet, then yeah, like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be playing Gray Zone Warfare, but let's just say if it's a situation where it's like, because I'm playing Gray Zone Warfare, that means that everything else is going to be slow, because this is a game that requires a lot of my PC. So if I open up Google Chrome and I'm trying to look, and then it's like this game's running in the background, so Google Chrome's going to be all slow. I'm not saying that that's happened to me, but it could be happening for somebody out there. I'm not the only one that's playing the game, and I'm not the only one out there with you know, well, I would say that I have decent internet, but I can't say that for everybody. There's been times where I have played Gray Zone Warfare, and there's been times where I'm like, my internet's been bad, so I'm like trying to do that game, get the lag in, doing all this other extra stuff, and I'm trying to, you know, fix that, then look up this mission, and then be worried about the enemies. That's too much running through my mind. I'm not trying to have that. I'm just trying to play a game. That's another thing where I'm all like, you know, if I'm having internet issues, that's even more so of a reason why games like that need an offline mode. So at least, and then even going back to what I was talking about having to pause, or not pause, but go onto that Wikipedia page and look for how to figure out the mission. If I can pause and then it pauses the time and I don't have to worry about the enemies, if it was set up like that, I probably wouldn't be complaining. But it's not. It's an online only game, and so yeah, it's you can't pause, and I think everybody knows that with an online only game. So anyways, eventually I do figure it out that you had to climb up on these boxes, climb through the window of this building, and I'm thinking to myself, why not just type that? Why not just have that where it's typed up in the mission details and stuff? You tell me to go to this street, and then the only hint that you give me is a picture of a couple of buildings. What does that tell me? I'm like, that's the thing. If the guy is dead or missing, whatever the situation is, and you're wanting me to go out there and look for him, my thing is this. Tell me where exactly. Don't just send me a picture and be all like, oh, here's a clue. Clues don't tell me nothing. I need direct, detailed information about where this guy is at. So if he is in that building, okay, say, hey, this is the building that he needs to be going in. I heard the door is locked, so figure a way in there and stuff. Then that's when I'll probably get to looking around the building. It didn't say none of that. It just said, go to this street and look for this guy. That tells me absolutely nothing when there's numerous buildings in the area. But I look past that. I'm like, hey, you know what? I ain't tripping about it. I'm going to continue playing this game because I'm having fun with it. So anyways, fast forward, then yeah, I'm going to that airfield. I'm going to other areas. I'm doing any and everything possible. And I'm like, man, this game is fun. Then I find the Poppy Fields mission. Okay, go ahead, find this Poppy Field. Now, the first Poppy Field, I didn't have no problem finding that. It was the other two Poppy Fields I had a problem finding that. So, there was a couple of missions that I played that was like this. It was the Poppy Field mission, and then it was that mission where they kind of have you going to like this ghost town near this like big body of water and things. I can't think of the name of that town, but anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys know what town I'm talking about. There's like this weird eerie noise that be happening at night and stuff. So, but anyways, I can look past that. I'm like, hey, I be watching a lot of different scary movies, so little eerie sounds happening. That's not the real threat. The real threat is the guy aiming a gun at me, shooting and stuff. So, but anyways, let's just talk about the Poppy Fields mission real quick. So, I find the first Poppy Field. No biggie, no problem. Kill the guys that's there. I don't even know why they wanted me to find the Poppy Fields, but they had a reason for me to find the Poppy Fields. I just can't remember the exact details, but I was like, all right, it's cool. Find this Poppy Field, go on about my business. Found the Poppy Field. You got to find, I think it was either 2 or 3 more Poppy Fields. Okay, cool. They're probably somewhere in the area. I walked around that whole map. Well, okay, let me correct myself. Area, and I did not see no other Poppy Fields. You know where the Poppy Fields was at? Down the map, not even in the same area of where the original Poppy Fields is at. So I'm thinking to myself, why would you guys not just say go to these areas? You're wanting me to find a Poppy Field on a big old giant map, and that's the thing. The map is all pixelated, so you can't make out what you're looking at. And I'm thinking to myself, fam, I think the game takes place in 2025. I'm pretty sure you guys have technology to be able to figure out the Poppy, or not Poppy Fields, but, well, yeah, for one, figure out where the Poppy Fields are at. I mean, you go to an island. We've been here on this island for all this time, and we don't know nothing about the island after all of this time of being here. I don't believe that, all right? So, but my thing is this, but we should have technology to be able to have it where the map doesn't look like it's being shown in 144p. I don't get that. I don't understand that. So I'm like, the map details, or the details of the map, I'm like, you guys can work on that. Because I'm like, man, I couldn't tell. There was like 5 different areas that all looked the same. And I guess they could have been the Poppy Fields, but they wasn't the Poppy Fields. So I'm like, they had me walk. I traveled so far. I walked all the way from like one side of the map, because they don't have cars in the game. They don't have no way of they have it where you can go by helicopter, but that's the thing. You gotta unlock the LZ, or discover the LZ to be able to travel back and forth and stuff. So that was another thing that I had to do too, was go on Google and figure out where all the different LZs were at, because I'm like, I'm not trying. You guys had me walk all the way out in this area and there ain't no LZs that aren't popping up on the map. No, I'm finding me a nearby LZ, and sure enough, yeah, when you open up the map, I'm like, then all you just gotta do is walk in that area and the LZ is discovered. Okay, so, but yeah, I did that Poppy Field mission. All right, cool, no biggie, no problem. I think I did that after, though, this mission where it takes place on that ghost town. So they wanted me to find a briefcase. I don't know, where actually, no, there was 2 missions that they had me where I was looking for some stuff there. Now, that mission, yeah, I had to go on Google and figure out where the mission was at. And it was a very detailed town. There was a lot of different obstacles in the way. They didn't have it set up where it's like, okay, pinpoint where exactly the area is at, or even like because there's this other game called Incursion Red River, where when there's material nearby, they'll have like a beeping thing that'll start going off. So I'm like, why not just have that? That seemed like that would make a lot more sense, and it would make the game a lot more easier and stuff. But they don't want to do no stuff like that. They don't want the game to be easy, and I can understand that. But having it where everything is an inconvenience, I'm not with that. So, but anyways, so yeah, they had it where with this one mission, they were all like, oh, just go to different parts of the town and look for collect samples. That's what it was. It was a sample collecting mission. They don't tell you where exactly the samples is at. They just say collect these samples, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, where are they? That's what I would like to know. You're not telling me. I don't know where exactly these samples is at. I'm telling you on some real life stuff. I probably would have been, they gave me a dishonorable discharge. If I was in the military and they kept telling me to go out in these areas, but you're not giving me any idea of what I'm looking for, who I'm looking for, what I'm doing out there, you just say, hey, go out there and do this mission. That tells me absolutely nothing. So yeah, I definitely would have got a dishonorable discharge in the military if they had somebody commanding me and telling me, and I'm like, yeah, your way of describing a mission, horrible. So, but anyways, I figured out the sample collecting mission. Then there was this mission where they wanted me to find a briefcase. The briefcase was not in that town. Now, how they had it set up, where they was all like, they had it where the briefcase, they made it seem like it was out in the water. So most people, I think, will probably think, okay, there's probably a boat or something. I get like me a fishing rod and I gotta fish the briefcase out, get the briefcase, go back to the land, take the briefcase back to whoever it is that wants it, and then that's it with the mission, right? That's not how it was. There's no way possible for you to go out in the water. I don't know what happens exactly if you do. I think it's kind of like a barrier thing. You can't go in the water and stuff. So there ain't no boats. There's nothing out there that you can do to go out in the water and stuff, right? How am I supposed to find this briefcase then? The briefcase isn't in the water. The briefcase isn't even in the town. It's in a tower across the map. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why do they keep doing this? Why do they say the mission takes place here, but it's somewhere else? Unless there was a clue or something that told me that I'm like, okay, say, hey, there's clues or intel about this briefcase that's at this location. See what you can find, and then see what where the whereabouts of that briefcase. If the mission was set like that, then I'm like, okay, cool. I can go about playing this game. They didn't have it where the mission was set up like that. They just say, go out in this area and find this briefcase. Okay, cool. I'm going to go out in this area and find this briefcase. Briefcase ain't there. It's at a tower all the way across the map. What's the issue with that? That's what I would like to know. If Madfinger Games, if they're listening to this podcast episode, what's the issue with that? Because my thing is this, right? That's like me telling somebody, you telling a person to go out in this area and look for this intel, briefcase, person, whatever. The way that you guys do it, that's like me telling somebody, hey, go out in the middle, no, go to downtown Seattle and find a Christmas present. Where exactly in downtown Seattle? Oh, I'll give you a hint. And I just send them a picture of downtown Seattle. Do you know how frustrated I would be if somebody had did some stuff like that? There's like, hey, there is a briefcase in downtown Seattle that has $1 million in it. Go out there and find it. Okay, I'm like, well, where exactly am I supposed to be looking? I'm like, you realize how big downtown Seattle is? It ain't like it's the size of a house. This is a whole city and things. And then they just send me a picture of the Space Needle. I'm like, so, okay, I'm going to go to the Space Needle, right? Okay, I'm going to go to the Space Needle. I would be there all day looking. If it was left up to Madfinger Games to tell me, like, oh yeah, the briefcase and all that stuff. And then I have to like look, and then yeah, let's just say Madfinger's game did this with another person last year, right? And then they say, oh yeah, they if I'm like look it up online talking with somebody like, oh yeah, it's not at the Space Needle, it's at the stadiums all the way across downtown Seattle. That's how they would describe it. And I'm like, if you guys know Seattle, you know that the Space Needle and the stadiums are in two different areas. They are nowhere nearby. All right. So anyways, that's why I'm like, man, like Madfinger Games, the next 0.5 or 0. Whatever, fix that. Okay. But no. So the thing is this. There was many other missions that was like that, especially the last mission that I played where they was like, go to this area called Blue Lagoon, look for, I think they was like, they wanted me to find the whereabouts of some girl, right? Okay, cool. Find the whereabouts of this girl. Blue Lagoon is a very detailed area. There's a lot of different areas that you're supposed to be looking, and they don't tell you where exactly to look or what exactly you are looking for. They just say, look for the whereabouts of this woman. Okay, cool. I look it up online. I'm supposed to be looking for a pink tent in Blue Lagoon. Why is it that you guys say in the game to look for this area, but it takes the Wikipedia page to tell me what exactly it is that I'm looking for? If it's not hard for them people to type it up on that Wikipedia page, it shouldn't be hard for you guys to type it up in your video game. But anyways, I went ahead, I went out there, I was looking, I looked out there multiple times, and every time when I gone out there, I killed a bunch of different enemies. But the thing is this though, right? With that area, it's bugged. Something ain't right with it, because when I went to that area that was by the water, I killed off all the guys that were there. They didn't spawn for some time. The other times when I did like the starter town, I killed off the guys that were there. They didn't spawn for some time. Blue Lagoon, for some reason, you can go and do a whole lap around that area, kill off all the guys, they spawn back within minutes. What's up with that? And instead of fixing it, and instead of coming out with an update where they fix the spawn time of the enemies, they fix the details of the missions, have it set up where it's just a little bit more easier to play the game, they toned down the brightness. So that's the issue with that game that I had, was that it was extremely dark. I can't remember because I did a couple of takes of this podcast episode. I can't remember if I said it in this take or the last take. But anyways, they have it set up where it's pretty much pitch black. So if you play it on the true settings, like the default settings, you pretty much can't see nothing. Because I remember before 0.4, I did play that game, and I was like, and that was the last time I had refunded the game before just fully committing to the game and stuff. They had it set up where it was like it was too dark, and I was being shot at, and I didn't know who was shooting at me, because you have me fighting in a dark jungle. Can you please explain to me why and so I know a lot of people, because I feel like people try to defend it and be like they have night vision goggles. Am I supposed to know that they have night vision goggles? If you don't tell me or don't show me that you guys have night vision goggles, I'm just going to go out there with whatever it is that I have, because I'm going to assume that I am properly equipped. But if you don't tell me, hey, it's probably best if you bring this weapon, bring this ammo, bring these grenades, all this other stuff. I'm saying, like, to me, because my thing is this, right? Now, I don't know how it is in the military, but I would imagine that whoever it is that's above the soldier, they're going to be telling them, yeah, it's probably best that you guys bring you some armor, bring you some extra ammo, all these other different things. It shouldn't be something where it's like, I got to die about 5,000 times to finally be like, realize, oh, well, maybe I should bring this, maybe I should bring that. It's stuff that should be told to you. That was my issue with the one video game operator, because they don't want to tell nobody nothing, right? But I seen past that, because I'm like, hey, you know what? No biggie, no problem. That's not my main issue with the game. My issue, and there's another issue too, and I was like, I remember when I got killed in Gray Zone Warfare, and then there was the whole thing about when your character gets too old to get your stuff back. That, my thing is this, right? On some real life stuff, let's say a soldier is out in the middle of somewhere, he gets shot and killed, but the enemies don't get his to his body. They're not going to have it set up where it's like, okay, then it's like, if I'm supposed to go out there and retrieve this soldier's body or get whatever it is that I'm getting, they're not going to have it set up on some stuff where it's like, oh, the stuff is too old and things, so therefore you can't get the stuff back. It doesn't matter. If you want me to retrieve this stuff, or if I can retrieve this stuff, I am going to retrieve this stuff. There's no such thing as a body being too old. And it was crazy, because I remember when I talked about that, people were trying to defend it. Fam, there's no defense for that. There's no defense for that at all. Because I'm like, my thing is this. Let's say if somebody their car gets taken away from them in the 90s, right? Somebody steals their car. They later on see their same car that was taken from. Do you think it's gonna be on some? And they was like, and let's just say they caught the person on camera too. So, and that's the same exact person that's driving this car that they're looking at right there in front of them. Their car that was stolen from them 20 years ago or however many years ago. Do you think it's gonna be on some stuff where, oh, well, the car is too old, so therefore I'm not going to? You're going to get your car back. So that whole thing, yeah, they can get rid of that and stuff. But anyways, yeah, but I'm like, man, the way that they describe missions, I feel like I was going to say something else about Gray Zone Warfare. But overall, yeah, I uninstalled the game. I was like, I just can't take it no more with Gray Zone. I really do like that game. But at the same time, I'm like, the way that they just go about the development of it and stuff. And it's like, here it is. There's real problems that's going on in the game. What you guys decide to do is just tone down the brightness and have it where the enemies run around a little bit more. That's not what we're asking for. All right, we're asking for the enemies to go down after they have been shot a few times, not wasting half of my ammo on them, and then to have it set up where the missions are a little bit more accessible to play. What part of that do the thing is this, I'm just tired of having to explain stuff to developers, because I know developers have to be listening to these podcast episodes and watching these videos and all this other stuff. If you guys are that deaf to what people are asking for in your guys' game, I'm sorry, and that's the thing, I don't like to say this about Gray Zone Warfare, but you guys ain't gonna last that long. All right, if you ain't listening to not just the Yes Man fans, all of your fans, because I ain't pay $100 and something for this game to have it where I'm like, I'm not being heard, listened to, or anything else. But if there is an area that I can go to where I can explain these things, I expect for them to be heard. So that's why I'm like, man, I've just gotten to a point where I'm all like, hey, I'm going, be going through, even though I ranted about everything I need to rant about with this game, I'm like, yeah, if the developers, if they don't want to listen, fine, that's on them. Don't be surprised when you look down the road and it's like, dang, man, why ain't nobody playing our game? Because you guys aren't listening to people. I ain't do this whole podcast episode for no reason. Listen, okay, please. So, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.